We are going to have another moment of silence at the end of the speakers today. But I don't want to lead that because I don't want to be silent. The victims won't hear our silence.
Colorado State Representative Judy Amabile joins me now. Judy, thank you for your time on this Wednesday morning. You knew Jody Waters, one of the victims. How did you know Jody? And would you mind sharing just a little bit about her?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me today. Jody owned a store on the Pearl Street Mall called Applause, and it was in the early 90s. And all of the moms in my demographic, we all went there, and she sold kids' clothing and little like toys, but also women's clothing. And she was just super personable. You went there once, she asked you your name, and then every time you ever went back, she knew your name and she knew something about you and knew what it is you might be interested in, knew whether you had boys or girls. And they opened a second store in Denver, and eventually the store closed down. And more recently, she was working at a different store on the Pearl Street Mall in Boulder. And same thing, I went in there, hadn't seen her in years, and she immediately, Judy, how are you? And, would text me or call me when they had stuff in the store that she thought I might like. And she was just, one of those people who really had a lot of heart and was genuine in the way she talked to you and how she felt about people.
Sounds like she cared about people. Sounds like she really cared about people. As you know, on Tuesday, President Biden called on Congress to pass a ban on assault weapons and close background check loopholes. What would you like to see done rather than another moment of silence, as you said on the floor?
Yeah, so I think we need to act on a lot of different levels, but I absolutely support a federal assault weapons ban. And we need to get that done as fast as we can. And then, of course, we should have universal background checks. We have that in Colorado, but we need that nationally, and that should happen. And then the third thing that we should work on that nobody's talking about is we should be making sure that people have access to mental health care services. And here in Colorado, we're behind a lot of other states in access to care and outcomes for people with mental illness. And that is an issue that's near and dear to my heart because I have a family member who has serious mental illness. And I know firsthand how hard it is to get the services that he needs. And we really need to work on that at the same time. We could do more than one thing. So we need universal background checks, we need an assault weapons ban, and we need better mental health care services for people. We need to make sure that people aren't ashamed to go and get the care they need.
Yeah, to destigmatize mental health. And I would contend we've done a better job over the last few years of that in this country. To your point, Judy, there are reports, again, we should point out it's early in the investigation, obviously, but there have been a number of reports that this 21-year-old suspected shooter did have a history of mental illness. How do you keep the guns out of the hands of folks who aren't well mentally? I mean, that seems to be, in addition to mental health and improving access to care, how do you do that?
Yeah, well, that's hard to do, but it's certainly not impossible. Here in Colorado, we have a red flag gun law. So you can, if you know that your person is in crisis, you can petition the courts to get them on a list of people who can't buy a gun. And I testified in favor of that law in 2019. And it's part of why I'm in the legislature today, because it was so impactful to be there and to hear the stories of the people who wanted that law to pass. So that's a beginning, but also that's not enough because maybe your people don't know that you're in crisis. And we really have to be, looking at more regulations around that, but also honoring the fact that most people who have a mental illness are not violent. you're way more likely to be the victim of violence if you have a mental illness than the perpetrator. And so we don't want to punish people who go and get services by saying, okay, now we're going to stigmatize you further, or we're going to deny you of your rights. So that really, we have to walk a very tight line there. I think we really have to focus on prevention, and that would make a bigger difference, because it isn't just these mass shootings, but it is also suicide and other kinds of crimes of passion that people carry out with guns. So I think we should have a waiting period to buy a gun. And that maybe, I don't know if the waiting period would have been long enough for this particular individual, but that I think would be meaningful in stopping these kinds of events and in also preventing suicides and other kinds of homicides.
State Representative Judy Amabile with some salient points there. Thank you.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. You should know that you can follow today's top stories and breaking news and catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.